What's going on, everybody? How you doing? My name is Dr. Baya. Please welcome back to my channel. How a covert narcissistic mother affects her children. The covert narcissistic mother. Narcissism can be a personality trait or a mental health diagnosis. Now, how does your mother's narcissistic traits affect you? If your mother is a narcissist, she has parented you from a place of hurt, from a place of deception, from a place of pain. Nothing is what seems on the surface. When you are raised by a mother who is a narcissist, your self-esteem suffers. You doubt yourself constantly. You carry your insecurity into other relationships. Now that's the bad news. The good news is that knowledge and awareness about the traits of a narcissistic mother is the first step to healing from your narcissistic mother. Now, a narcissistic mother lacks empathy towards her children. She fails to care for them, to nurture them, to meet their basic needs. In general, a narcissistic mother may have a hard time identifying or connecting to the needs of a young child, for example. The narcissistic mother may tend to use manipulation or guilt-based tactics with older children or adults. They could also play the victim in some situations. Mothers living with covert narcissism may tend to play the victim. They may shift blame or they may set high expectations for their children. Being the child of a narcissistic mother may impact your mental health. If it has already impacted your mental health, healing is possible once you become aware of how it has affected you. A covert narcissistic mother will never appreciate you living your life with a sense of urgency. She will benefit from your poor impulse control and lack of boundaries. Her insatiable thirst for control, sense of entitlement, and insecurities will force you to remain in her shadow. So the covert narcissistic mother will punish you for her sadistic urges. She can't help but feel upstaged by you. She feels threatened by your thriving social life. She's vain, she's superficial, and she is insecure about her appearance. She ignores your basic needs and prioritizes herself. She will criticize when you fail and she will sabotage when you succeed. She gets a sadistic pleasure seeing you in pain. Pathologically, she's envious. Alright? She's pathologically envious and she will always strive to be the center of attention. The covert narcissistic mother will create misunderstanding among your social groups and she will sabotage your relationships. Your covert narcissistic mother is superficial, materialistic, and obsessed with her personal appearance. She selfishly puts her needs ahead of yours. She will encourage you to achieve more, but she'll feel threatened by your growing independence. Guilt tripping is what covert narcissistic mothers are known for. Covert narcissistic mothers may use guilt trips with their children through the appearance of neediness. There are many effects of growing up with a covert narcissistic mother. They will blame you. Mothers who are coverts narcissists tend to shift blame. This means that they might have a hard time being accountable for their actions and emotions, and they'll put that responsibility on the child. For example, they may say that they are having a bad day, they are sick, they're tired because their child woke up late, or they may justify their anger, their outbursts by saying it was caused by something the child did or said. The covert narcissistic mother, if they have an effect on their children through minimizing needs, she persistently prioritizes her needs over yours. This behavior can appear in many ways, particularly during early childhood. This may lead the covert narcissistic mother not to be aware of the child's needs or not realize how their actions affect their children. They may ignore a crying child, for instance. They may overlook their academic needs. But you should note this, that not all narcissistic mothers will act that way. Because there are some will act in the opposite way, just to show how high status they are through their children. Another way these covert narcissistic mother have an effect on their children is by being excessively helpful. They can appear kind, gracious, empathetic, or even generous. That generosity and willingness to help, however, may sometimes be motivated by a need for praise and admiration. They want to be the center of attention. They want to be praised. They want to be portrayed as the perfect mothers. They want to be admired for their many sacrifices and efforts, for them being the perfect parent. But most of the times, underneath this fake image, they are in pain and anger and in rage that people are not admiring them sufficiently. People are not praising them sufficiently, and it hurts them. The other effect these covert narcissistic mothers have on their children is holding high expectations. Sometimes they see, these covert narcissistic mothers, they see their children as an extension of themselves. The children's behaviors are a reflection of their own. Because of this, they may hold extremely high standards that lead the children to be perceived as successful, smart, beautiful, handsome, special, unique in any way, in some way. And they will often take the credit for these accomplishments. And if the children face challenges, then the narcissistic mother may become upset excessively, intensely. And they may become excessively critical due to the worries that they will be looked at negatively, that their reputation will be negative. The covert narcissistic mother will verbally abuse and shame their children through guilt tripping, withholding their affection, and so on. They shame their children for their perceived flaws. The toxic covert narcissistic mother, they'll push their children to accomplish more in all aspects of life so that it may reflect well on them. Repeated emotional abuse of this kind can damage the children's psyche. And as adults, they might become hypersensitive to criticism and negative feedback. Another effect that covert narcissists have on their children is the comparison. They draw unhealthy comparisons between their children and other children. They also make their children feel inferior to the other children, to their peers. They might make derogatory remarks about the physical appearance of their own children or academic performance of their children in the presence of their friends, and they may shower praises on those friends. Such toxic, abusive upbringing makes these children lose their confidence, and it might cause them to feel inadequate for the rest of their life. Another effect of covert narcissistic mothers having on their children is issues related to competition and competing attitudes. They may compete with their own children, these covert narcissistic mothers. It could be in many forms. They may claim they have bigger problems or accomplishments than the problems or accomplishments that their children have. If the child says they have a problem, they'll say they have bigger problems. If the child says they have accomplished something, they'll say they have accomplished more. They always want attention directed to them. When, for instance, a girl child grows up to be more beautiful and attractive than the covert narcissistic mother, the mother feels outshined and replaced. She also gets insecure about the fact that her daughter is soon going to outgrow her. As a defense mechanism, the covert narcissistic mother will start competing with her own daughter. She might even start seducing her daughter's friends or partners. In case of a son, or sometimes even with that daughter, emotional incest is often seen at play, where the insecure mother makes her children responsible for her emotional needs. Instead of being the parental figure, the covert narcissist parents depend on the child for their relational and emotional satisfaction. All this can lead the child to develop trust issues and disrupt their future romantic relationships. Other instances of intrusive behaviors by a covert narcissist mother might include bugging in the storming in the room of the child unannounced, checking their children's phones, reading their diaries, eavesdropping on their conversations, and much more. These narcissistic mothers they have no respect for the child's privacy and boundaries. Even after growing up, children of a covert narcissistic parent might struggle with setting boundaries. Growing up with a covert narcissistic mother can make the children hyper attuned to what will please other people. They need to keep others happy, which is known as fawning. Is common among children of narcissistic parents. Those with covert narcissistic mothers may become particularly good at anticipating or reading the negative emotions of others. This may mean you become preoccupied with trying to contain those negative emotions in others before they appear or turn on you. So growing up with a mother who is a covert narcissist may also make you more prone to engaging in relationships that repeat those narcissistic patterns or become harmful. People with covert narcissistic mothers also find that they feel at home with toxic or negative people. Human beings unconsciously become attracted to what is familiar, no matter how dysfunctional it may seem. So, how do you deal with these covert narcissistic mothers? You can learn to identify the traits of a covert narcissistic mother. You can peacefully call her out for her toxic behaviors. Expose them. You can understand her point of view without making concessions for her. You can refrain from engaging in arguments to prove your point. You can be confident and don't second guess yourself. You can say no and stick to your ground when something is unacceptable. You can communicate clearly and you can be assertive of your boundaries. You can realize it's about her and not about you. You can work on your reactions and self-restraining behavior. You can find someone who can help you navigate through this issue. In conclusion, what are the symptoms of narcissistic personality disorder and what are these signs? In short, these signs of a narcissistic mother. First of all, we know that narcissistic personality disorder is a formal mental health diagnosis in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, the 5th edition, that is DSM-5. However, narcissism can also be a personality trait. This means that someone may exhibit narcissistic behaviors in some situations without meeting all the criteria to receive a formal diagnosis. The core traits of narcissistic personality disorder include a constant need for praise and admiration, a pattern of grandiose behaviors and attitudes, low capacity to experience and express empathy. People with narcissistic personality disorder persistently experience at least 5 of the following symptoms across different situations. That is, exaggerated sense of self-importance, often not based on facts, a need to belong and to be understood by people or institutions that are perceived as superior or elite, persistent preoccupation with fantasies of self-power, success, brilliance, beauty, or love, a constant sense of entitlement, a need to be admired and recognized as superior, unwillingness or inability to recognize the feelings and needs of others, tendency to use manipulation and exploitative tactics, feelings of envy towards the success of others or a belief that others are envious, superior or arrogant attitudes. Now, that's the end of this video. If you love it, please say it in the comment section of this video. Give this video a like, alright? Smash that like button. If you've not subscribed to my YouTube channel, smash that subscribe button, alright? Share this video widely to all those who may need it. Knowledge is power, information is power, and learning is the superpower. I love you all to the moon and back. God bless you. Catch you later in the next video. And please don't forget to subscribe. Share this video widely to your social media platforms. Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, your emailing list, Twitter, alright? Facebook groups. Share this video. Tell it. Talk about this video to your friends. Let's build a strong support system. Bye.